It is a solemn and grim day here in the nation's capital, where it feels like an occupying force has taken control because of the fears that the president's own supporters will stage terrorist attacks, more terrorist attacks. And while it is true no president has ever been impeached twice, it is also true that no president of the United States has ever incited a domestic terrorist attack on the U.S. Capitol. It is a grim day. It is a day of accountability, Dan. And I think one of the big questions going forward is, what about the other people that were part of this? This is a day where we're focusing on accountability for President Trump. But what about all the other people who fed the lies? What about all the other members of Congress who incited the crowd? There is now an investigation supposed to be going forth about whether or not members of Congress, we should point out, of course, Republican members of Congress, conducted reconnaissance with some of the attackers. It is a really, really ugly set of events.
It is, and because of everything you just said, the security at the Capitol and around this capital city is nothing like I have seen really since post 9/11. I mean, just to see the images that our colleagues on Capitol Hill captured, you see them there, of National Guard troops just sleeping and resting in the Capitol to protect the Capitol in a way that it wasn't 1 week ago today, to protect the members, even those who, as you said, enabled this, is not something that I can believe. And, you know, when you think about it, Jake and Abby, this is to protect the country, not from a threat like we saw in 2001 with Osama bin Laden radicalizing people to come to the United States to harm us. It's to protect from a president of the United States and his enablers radicalizing Americans to harm the people elected to serve.
Yeah, it's coming from inside the House. And in so many ways, we can't forget that this is happening just days before we are supposed to have a transition of power. This feeling of unease in Washington, this feeling of distrust among members of Congress, they can't even trust each other to be in the same workplace. This feeling of the country being sort of under siege from itself, the FBI scrambling to find the people who were a part of this plot to riot and to try to stop the government from operating. It's happening on the eve of a transition of power. And I think that we can say at this point that we've been talking about a peaceful transfer of power for many, many months now in a theoretical way, because we've never really had to test it. And I think for the first time, we are facing the prospect that that principle has already been violated. It was violated last week when there was violence on the Capitol, and now we are bracing ourselves for what could happen in just a few days. And it's a really sad moment for this country, in addition to the other history that is being made here today. But the impeachment proceedings that we are about to see are happening, as you said, Jake, not just because President Trump It's historic, not just because President Trump is being impeached a second time. It's because of why he is being impeached. Never has a president on the eve of his exit from office created such an environment in Washington, created such danger for another branch of government, and that is why we are here today.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a statement from Senator Tim Scott, Republican of South Carolina, saying that President Trump has promised there will be an orderly and peaceful transition of power, and I read that and I was like, that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
we have been denied an orderly and peaceful transition of power. There are now 5 people dead that day, 2 subsequent suicides, one from a Capitol police officer. And Dan, just one other note. I worked on Capitol Hill on September 12th, 2001. And everybody was scared, but the show of force was not like what you're seeing there. There are many, many more National Guardsmen in the Capitol today than I recall there being on September 12th, 2001.
You're exactly right, and I know we're going to go over to Wolf, but as you say, that what we expect to see when it comes to the military force by inauguration is going to be more here in Washington than in Iraq and Afghanistan.
That's because the threats, in many ways, are from House Republicans and Senate Republicans who have incited this riot and also been spreading these lies. And there are fears of even worse complicity. Wolf?
Yeah, I was up on Capitol Hill earlier this morning, and I saw those National Guard troops fully armed right now, bracing, God forbid, for the worst. We'll have much more on that coming up.